What's up, everyone? Happy Tuesday if you're watching live or whenever you're rewatching this. I mean, happy day. We're here to talk about some Orange County Soccer Club, and we actually get to talk about Orange County getting a point on the road. So that's pretty exciting. And plus, a lot of other stuff. Last home match of the season coming up, an international friendly announced, a few other things that have happened this week. So let's get into this. Let's have some fun tonight. Welcome to the Podcast of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
One large exhale. Trouble. A Rosa Raiders beat. Orange County opens the scoring. It's Thomas. Kuninga scores! The old guard with a new trophy.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Zamora, and I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. Let's introduce who's going to be helping me out with that task today. First, let's bring him on. It's starting to become more of a normal thing here in introducing the man from Reno first. Brad, how does it feel? I mean, this is now like over the last couple months, this is like your third or fourth time being the first introduced. How does it feel, man?
It feels quite good to be the first. I don't know if you can see, but little Flynn is ruining my backdrop by appearing behind me, the little yellow lab. No, it's been an interesting week so far. And it's weird to say that we'll be talking about a game that feels like a win, even though we lost the game. Like, we got eliminated from playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I think we already all knew at this point we are eliminated from playoffs, although I was always on the glass half empty or half full mentality and just hoping somehow, some way it would work. But yeah, Brad, make sure we do not get DRM'd for you watching anything else and not giving us your 100% attention here on this show. We got one other person here helping us tonight, and he's becoming a regular on the show. And you know, again, this may be the guy now that is bypassed Alan as the beard of the show. And he's only been here a few times. Because Alan's had, 3 years of his beard on this camera here. You've only had a month or two of beard on the camera, but you've already sort of taken it.
Yes, but I've got 3 years
Larry.
worth of beard.
I got to say Larry. I didn't even say your name. We just said the bearded man. Otherwise known, I guess, today as Fat Guy Yoga.
Fat Guy Yoga, baby. It's all about the hot yoga.
I want that to be like branded, like you get that trademark, throw it on some apparel. I'd buy some.
I have Fat Guy running shirts.
I know we need to get Fat Guy Yoga branded,
Not
trademarked. Yet. Okay, let's get Fat Guy Yoga trademarked, and then what we'll do is we will get an artist to come in and draw Larry in random yoga poses, and we put those on the shirts.
You got to make it spell out like something like yoga or something.
Oh, look, no one can steal that idea. If you're listening, we're claiming this idea. Do not listen to it.
Just don't do like Fat Guy running or Fat Guy Yoga. Just Fat Guy Sports.
Fat Guy Sports. Hey, there you go.
Fat Guy Sports. There we go, man. That now that's a brand we can create. But we're not here to talk about. We're not like on Shark Tank or nothing. Although let's put this together. We'll talk about this. We'll get a game plan. We'll go on to Shark Tank and get some investors for Fat Guy Sports. But let's talk about what we're really here to talk about. That's some Orange County Soccer Club. Over the weekend, Orange County made a difficult trip to face Pittsburgh in what I think many of us were very hesitant to think there would be any kind of success for Orange County in the race to the playoffs. Although, again, Brad mentioned Orange County's, I believe, mathematically eliminated at this point, finally. But I want to say they still a point in Pittsburgh. I don't think many people thought they could get any kind of result, and they get a point out of it. Let's go to you first, Brad. Thoughts on Orange County earning a point in Pittsburgh, even though they did give up an ugly goal like we just saw there on the replay.
Honestly, I am relieved. I mean, I remember it was the 80th minute or something, and the announcers, which credit to the announcers, were probably some of the best. I know that those were league announcers and not Homer announcers, but they did probably the best I've ever heard from anybody in the league in a long time. Much better than those in the city down south of Orange County. But um, they said in the game that if the game remains the same, we're not ending 1-0. We're going to end either 1-1 or 2-0. And they were right. The game ended 1-1 off a beautiful late game cross by Torres to the man himself, giving 21 to Milan. And honestly, I thought that big shout out to Miles. I thought he played a pretty good game. And, being 17, making your first ever appearance in a start this late into the season against a playoff team in the East, pretty good effort out of the kid. Didn't give up many direct shots on goal. Didn't really, it made it tough for those offensive players from Pittsburgh. And if he sticks around next year, which I have no inclination to say he won't, there might be a more stable presence in that back line, a la Kobe Henry, with another 17-year-old kid in the back.
Let me ask you this question, Larry. Obviously, we knew there was going to be some shorthanded, availability in the center defense with Orozco picking up a red card in the previous match. When the starting 11 is announced and you don't see any recognizable names on that starting 11 as center defensive players, I know Miles was out there, but not a recognizable name for Orange County fans, at least yet. And then you look at the substitutes and you're like, wait, there's not even any center backs on the bench. What was going through your mind? And what was crazy? Like, how does crazy lineup happen? I'm stumbling on the words from this.
I like the way the kids played. I like the way Ruiz played. I thought he looked at first at the very start of the game. He looked like a 17-year-old, making his first career start. And things were a little bit sketchy. I'm sorry, not Ruiz, Miles. He looked every bit of 17 years old and a little bit overmatched at the start. As the game went on, it seemed as though he got a lot more comfortable. He didn't hurt us any, which is great. I don't know that he did anything overly noteworthy that we want to do backflips about him just yet. But to be 17 years old and sign a professional contract, that alone says a whole bunch about the boy. So optimistic, looking forward to see what else he can do. Absolutely, no question. But looking at that starting lineup, I had to go, who? And then go take a look and remember these kids that were signed here in the last couple of weeks. I would like to comment on Kubo's assist. We've been a little hard on Kubo this year. He hasn't really lived up to the expectations, I think, that a lot of us were hoping for. But I have to say, and this is just my opinion, that assist was the prettiest play that he's made all year. That touch, picking that ball out of the sky and going left with it away from the goalie. And then he's got three guys surrounding him, and he still manages to drop the ball on Milan's foot for Milan to break the single-season record for OCSC. It was absolutely magnificent. I wish I could have seen it live. I didn't get to see the last 15 minutes or so of the game because I had somewhere else I had to be. But when I watched the replay, I was just like, wow, I was blown away by how pretty that was.
Yeah. Interesting, like that Pittsburgh's defense wasn't aware that the more dangerous player is Milan Alaski and not Kubo Torres there, focusing really heavily on Kubo. And leaving Milan sort of open right in front of the net. And Kubo, props to him for being able to find Milan there, and props to Milan to get into that ball and just punching it into the net to equalize there. I was sort of like you. I didn't get to watch all of it live. I was actually in Catalina over the weekend, and we were at the beach until about 5:00 on Saturday. So I was able to sort of start watching from that point on, and I was able to sort of watch some highlights between beach and dinner, or not highlights, but some of the match. I did miss Milan's goal, which I'm a little bummed at. But again, props to that moment for a team that has struggled and pretty much, although like we said, they weren't mathematically out of it before this match happened, I don't think. But it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that they're not making the playoffs. But for the team to still be out there fighting is pretty cool. Yes, and I know there's been a lot of calls for play the youngsters. I know Brad's been a key person in that movement. And let's see the youngsters out there, and we're getting to see some of those youngsters playing now here in the final matches. It seems with Miles playing in this match, and who else was some of the youngsters playing? Ruiz played, Jameson played. So we're getting to see some of what would be the future, and I'm going to assume, because I think this has always been sort of the game plan for Orange County is when you sign some of these younger players, it's not just for like 1 month or 1 year contracts. They typically sign some of these players at least for a couple of years, because the whole game plan for Orange County has been, find these diamonds in the rough, develop them, and then you can sell them off like we've seen with an Aaron Cervantes and a Kobe Henry and whatnot. So nice to see some of that. Were you at all, Brad, worried that this was going to be another loss for Orange County? I know you talked about the announcers didn't think so as far as, or thought there was the chance, but when you got to that like 75th minute, did you think, okay, this is over, time to get home and let's look forward to San Diego? Or did you have any faith in Orange County pulling out that equalizer?
I kind of, around the 70th minute, I kind of gave up any inclination of a win. I didn't give up any inclination of a draw. I thought the team looked pretty good in the second half. Definitely threatened some opportunities, although the final shot was often lacking. However, this is a team that worked hard for that goal they got, and I'm happy to see that, they were just as excited that they had scored as I was at home. Although, it's kind of a little too late in the season. The final nail has been put in the coffin. And then with those, you mentioned that I've been kind of the play the young people, especially now that we're mathematically eliminated. We have some interesting young talents on our team. We just promoted 2 of them with Ruiz and Miles. What's the harm in playing them? We signed what appears to be a stellar option for the future. I would love to see Jameson get a good 30 minutes in the next game, 40 minutes, just see what he can do, what he can create, mix him in with Osundina and Olaski. Obviously you want to play Olaski until he can get 25, 26 goals in the year, if he can still get there. But there's a lot of young talent on this team. We might as well see what they can do. Especially since we're eliminated, and who knows, maybe next season these guys are contributing double-digit goals and assists to the team, and the team comes back and makes a playoff run as a home team next year.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because again, I didn't focus too hard on this match because I was busy spending some quality time with family, but correct me if I'm wrong, was Brett Richards the other center back in this match? And Brad, Brett Richards more than any of us as far as his history. Have you ever seen Brett Richards playing center back? This is a guy that early on when he was young played more of a center forward striker role or a wing role, attacking, sort of transitioned to wing back as he got more experience in USL, and now playing center back. I mean, have you ever seen this from him? And what did you think of his effort in this new role?
Honestly, I don't know of a position that Richards hasn't played, and I'm including goalie in that because I'm pretty sure it was either this game or the game before that he had a nice clear off the line. So I'll count that as some goalie experience. Brent Richards will play anywhere. The guy is wicked talented, coming as a striker, early on in his career when he was in college. Definitely happy to see that, he was a good contribution in that back line, mistake early in the game aside.
Let me go, Larry. Again, we saw some youngsters in this match. Which of the youngsters we saw, and I'm not talking about any of the ones that have been featuring most of the season, I'm talking about these newer ones, Jameson, Miles, Ruiz. And did any of them sort of stand out to you like that? You're like, I'm excited for what this guy can bring to our team next year.
I'm in particular, the striker. What's the kid's name? Jameson.
Bryce Jameson.
Yeah, I really want to see what this kid can do because, correct me if I'm wrong, he's coming from the same academy where Correde came from, Barcelona out in Tucson. So, I mean,
and apparently he's like one of the higher rated players at his age group too, which is awesome.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to read up on him quite that much yet, but we've seen what Correde can do, and we've seen what his work ethic is like. I think that this kid is going to be very exciting. He's big, he's tall, he's skinny. He looks like he's going to be really fast. It'll be fun to see what we can turn him into, and maybe he's a diamond in the rough for the next 3 seasons, 2 or 3 years for us. But it's one of those things. It's a crapshoot. You just never know with anything. I mean, once upon a time, I was a highly touted shooting guard in high school. All right, that's not true. I wasn't. You never know how things are going to pan out with somebody. All you can do is throw them out there and hope. And I think you're right. Give some of these kids, give Ruiz, give Jameson, give Ashton, give these kids, give them 30, 40 minutes this weekend against San Diego, who is a top tier. I mean, I would hate to see us lose badly to San Diego because we're throwing a bunch of kids out there against a team that's trying to. I think they still have a shot at the number 1 seed, don't they?
I don't know. I thought San Antonio sort of.
Well, I know they both clinched playoff spots, but I don't think number 1 seed in the West has been clinched yet. So
I think they're still eligible. I think you're right about that.
Yeah,
mathematically, they're still eligible. There you
go.
Right,
and obviously they're going to want that. So we obviously don't want to see that happen. It's the last thing anybody but them. So that's the hazard with throwing those kids out there against an experienced San Diego Loyal team and a very good San Diego Loyal team. So there's you got to figure out, and that's on Chapel obviously, to figure out a balance of how to get these kids in there and get them to play time. And then those last couple games in San Antonio, and I forgot who our last ones are. Who are our last 2 games against? Oakland and San Antonio.
I know San Antonio is the final one.
Yeah.
And yeah, El Paso is the other one.
El Paso, okay. El Paso, I think they're in the playoff spot or just out. Give these kids a run. Give all of them a run and give them 30, 40, 50, even 60 minutes out there while doing everything they can to feed Milan the ball at every possible opportunity they can to see if he can get 25 or 26 goals. I mean, he could score 5 goals in 3 games. He's done it twice, I think, this season. So, yeah.
Let me just say this before we continue talking about this. Larry, anytime you want to, just let me know. We can get together. We'll get a group of guys together. We'll play some poker because, man, that was the quickest sort of admittal of that you were bluffing. I mean, I was once a top shooting guard prospect. No, I wasn't. Let's play poker, Larry. I'd love to take your money.
You will take my money. When people
who knows though, Jameson,
$20.
Sorry about that.
Jameson, what?
Yeah, Jameson.
Don't leave us hanging there, Brad. Don't leave us hanging.
Jameson could be the next diamond in the rough, like Erling brought Holland, or he could be the next Freddie Adu. There's 2 spectrums, but you can only figure out if you play them.
Well, let's talk about that though, right? Not trying to get too much away from Pittsburgh, but that's what finding these youngsters is about, right? Probably 1 or 2 out of 10 are going to actually pan out and become something good. The rest of them sort of burn out, or you find out that this is sort of their level. This is where they're going to be good at. I think what you're seeing from Orange County is they're really investing in this methodology because they see what the rewards can be. This Kobe Henry thing really, really opened up the door to this, not only from the club's perspective, but from other players' perspective, right? Is because the club got Kobe Henry in young, probably didn't. I don't think they paid anything for him. It was sort of out of an academy contract, joining Orange County on a professional contract, and he develops into what could end up being $1 million contract, right? Or $100,000 contract, whatever it is. I know. I think 100,000. I'm thinking too big here, $1 million, right? But I know the base amount is not quite there, but there's the escalators that potentially can happen. So for Orange County, they're seeing this. Okay, if we find these young guys that want to come here and want to turn pro early on instead of go the academy route, college route, which has been typical for some U.S. athletes, or instead of wanting to move to, say, Europe, where some of the German clubs have been willing to invest in these American youngsters. Hey, they can stay in the US, they can go to Orange County, they can learn from some quality players. I mean, you have players like Michael Orozco on the roster that are going to teach these kids how to be professionals. And Orange County's looking at it in their eyes as we find 1 or 2 that pan out of the 10, it's going to be profitable for us. We're going to be able to get these players, develop them, get some wins out of them while they're playing, and then sell them on to bigger, greener pastures or whatever you want to call it. For the youngsters, they see that Kobe Henry, Aaron Cervantes, Ronaldo Damas sort of is a little bit different because he was professional in League One before he came to Orange County, but it's very similar, right? Giving these young players opportunities to develop, grow, and move on. That's one of the things we heard when we had Alex Villanueva on recently is, he wanted to come to Orange County because he saw the opportunity coming to a team like Orange County to develop your career and grow and move and just learn how to become a better player and move on to bigger and better things. So the fact that you have a club like Orange County not standing in the way of players' growth and reaching their goals, and you have proven track records now of multiple players that have come to Orange County and moved on to big leagues in Europe, you're going to be able to start drawing more of these players. And that's what we're seeing when we see, Jameson coming over or signing with us and some of these other youngsters. They want to see those opportunities happen. The one, I guess, to think about, like what's happening or what has happened, or maybe it's just one of those ones. This is the level, is the Francis Jacobs one, right? Because I think out of all of them, he was the one with the biggest hype that came to this club, and it just hasn't panned out for him. I know he's, was stuck in the midfield with a bunch of midfielders on Orange County, and then he went on loan to Cal United and gets injured. But still, a proven track record. If you're a young, talented player that has the willingness to learn and grow, you can come to Orange County and you can take that step and move to a team in Europe. Brad, you had a comment really quick.
Isn't Francis Jacobs still 17? I know.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So there's still time on him too.
Yes, but we've seen other players that maybe weren't as much hype come into Orange County and get playing time. He was struggling to even get on the pitch. Very limited time with Orange County. And unfortunately, again, he goes to Cal United and gets hurt, so he doesn't really get to shine with Cal United. Who knows? He still has time. I'm not saying that the chapter, the book has ended on Francis Jacobs. He still has time. He's still very young. But I guess what I'm trying to say is there's been more there's been less touted players that have come signed with Orange County and have been able to advance their careers when you look at a Kobe Henry. And again, some of the youngsters that have come over recently, maybe not quite as young as Francis Jacobs, but they've come over and they've gotten early playing time. I think one of the big frustrations with Francis is many of us were like, dude, we want to see this guy play. Is he legit or not? And unfortunately, that has not happened yet. But again, still time on that. Larry, any last thoughts on any of this we just talked about before we move on? Well, before we look at our prediction scores and then move on to the upcoming match, final home match against San Diego.
It's been a tough year, so it's hard to find positives. But I really do think that the positives, obviously, Milan's a definite positive for this season. That I don't think any of us expected this to happen. But these young kids, they are definitely a positive. And the direction that the club is taking in regards to these young kids, absolutely, it's all positive steps. I mean, are we going to compete for a championship every year? Maybe not. But if we can be a team that develops young players, I think Russell said it on the YouTube chat. If we can be that Ajax type of team here in the States, that's amazingly beneficial for the club, for the league, and for our community. So I think if the team keeps doing what they're doing, ain't nobody going to be unhappy and having that star on our chest that we have right now. If we never get another one, that's okay. A lot of teams only win one. Let's look at the Angels, for instance. Let's not look at the Angels. I get bitter.
Yeah. Let's not hope we follow in the Angels' footsteps. And
right.
It's now been a 20-year drought since they last won something. So
yes, I had hair back then and it was brown.
But no, I mean, to your point, right? We're not going to compete every year for a championship because we're not that team that's going to invest purely in proven talent each and every year. We're a team that's trying to balance the youth development and competitiveness.
Yeah,
so realistically for Orange County fans, we should expect there's going to be up years, there's going to be down years. That's what's going to happen with the way the team's playing. And it's probably the right way to run this organization in Orange County, where props to the fans, props to the club. They're drawing in fans this year, but still you look at it, it's capping at about, 4,500 fans a match. I mean, honestly, most of us that have been here for, even just 3 years, you look at that number, you're like, that's a really good number from where we were in the past. And we see that in the stadium, but we're not going to be able to have those numbers at some of these other clubs, at least at this point in the club's, structure. Maybe 20 years down the road, you see where we can fit, get 10,000 fans out to a match. And maybe then you're not having to focus as much on the balance between youth, develop, sell to make money to support the rest of the team. And you could do some of the more competitive structure, but by all means, it's fun, right? Because we're all now getting the opportunity to see some of these players that you may someday say, I watched that guy play in a 5,000 seat stadium, at Championship Soccer Stadium, at Anteater Field, wherever it was. And now they're playing in Champions League, like a Josh Cohen, or now they're playing in Europe, like a Ronaldo Damas. Now they're playing for Rangers, maybe hopefully one day in like an Aaron Cervantes, like on the, top team, not the reserve team. Right. It's a cool experience now, because now you have this connection to some of these other teams. And I know some of us fans have started following some of these other teams because of that connection. I didn't really care about Rangers until this partnership with Rangers in Orange County. And then Aaron Cervantes moves over there. It makes me want to see how Rangers are doing when, European competitions like Champions League or Europe are going on. I'm now watching Ranger matches because of all that. And you're going to start seeing Orange County fans follow some of these other teams around, Kobe Henry is another example. You might see more people checking out Rennes in Ligue 1. I don't know how the French do that. Do any of you speak French? Go for it. We don't have Dylan on here. Dylan's our resident French speaker. Let's move on. Let's talk about the upcoming match. Final home match of the season. Oh, wait, no, we got to do that. Thank you, producer Andy.
That's why we have him here.
Let's see where the scores are right now. Again, Larry's now officially part of our podcast, so you got to beat Larry if you want to win anything. And I don't know if anyone even is mathematically possible to beat Larry. How are you doing this, Larry? What's the secret of your success? Are you really that smart about soccer?
I still don't even know what a number 9 is. So
he's just able to think negatively. No, I think for him what it's been is he's at least able to get one of the correct scores for one of the teams every game.
Yeah.
And then if you get the result on top of that, it's 7 points when everyone else is either maxing 3 or 0.
And admittedly, there were some games early in the season where everybody else was saying, when we were really, really playing piss poorly, it's, we're going to win 3-1. We're going to win 2-1. It's like, no, we're not. We're going to lose 2-1 or we're going to lose 2-0. And I bet against the team, and Russell's still mad at me for it. But, he'll forgive me eventually. Sorry, Russell.
Well, here for Russell, he wants to educate you. He wants to share with you what a true number 9 is. And he's giving you examples. Kubo and Ugo are true number 9s. So when you want to know what a number 9 is, just think of Kubo and Ugo. Really quick. I'm going to put this on the comments.
What a 6 is.
No. Take that guy off the screen really quick, Andy. There we go. People that are on the live stream right now, go on the chats right now. Do you want to allow Dylan to participate in this, or is he too late to the show? Throw it in the comments right now. We'll give it about a minute. We'll see what people say. If no one responds, or if we get a bunch of positive for Dylan, we'll bring him on. But if everyone says hell no, then Dylan just has to sit there and watch us talk about soccer.
If everyone says no, does that count as an appearance because he showed up on the screen for literally a fraction of a second before you sent him off?
Well, let me say this. Props to our producer, Andy. The moment I said get him off here, man, he was out there in a second. So Andy is on top of that. I like Mikey right here. Mikey's like, screw Dylan. But Eric Allison says, bring on Dylan. So it's sort of 1-1 at this point. It's Larry, you're not allowed to go and actually
let the kids play is what I see. I see let the kids play.
Let's bring him on, Dylan. Come on to the show, man. Welcome. Finally, you made it. We've been going, the start time is 8:30, Dylan, right?
8:34.
You have it on your calendar. Probably our time hasn't changed in the last 3 years or something on Tuesday nights at 8:30. So just want to make sure everything's okay there.
Yeah, no, it has actually not changed in nearly 4 years at this point. Would have been a month ago, 4 years ago, that we switched to Wednesdays, but no one cares. It's good to be here. Sorry, I'm late.
No worries. Just give me a hard time. That's what we
I
like to do here.
expect nothing else from you.
So you missed our whole talk about Pittsburgh and then about the youth movement. I want to give you like a minute to give you got a minute to cram all of that in there for whatever you want to share about the match against Pittsburgh and the youth movement we've seen with the team from the recent announcements and matches.
Well, we were really bad, which probably is not a surprise to anyone because we flew across the country and are also just not a very good team. And it was nice to see that we trusted a kid in the back line instead of a certain entity that has made way too many appearances this season, because as it turns out, it's about the same end result, but we're developing a kid. And it was nice because I remember Kobe Henry had a very rough go of things for probably a month and a half before turning into actually like quite a very good player. So why not do it now? All these matches are dead rubber anyway, so let's just develop some kids and feed them along the ball, and hopefully we can have a couple of positives from this game.
We talked a little bit about this. I want to ask you this quick question. When you saw the lineup, including the starting 11 and the bench, and you saw no center backs that you would recognize name-wise on that lineup, were you at all concerned with what maybe what was going on with, were you thinking Chaplow must have lost his mind at this point? And what do you think of Brent Richards, the center back?
It wasn't pretty. I think it's a waste of his ability, to be completely honest, but it mostly worked. And I was glad to not see names I recognized because, Orozco was going to miss out due to suspension, and, a certain other player, a certain other entity. Yeah. Like, why? We already know.
Dylan is scared to say his name. Dylan, just say the name.
I don't care to see Albie Skendi play again this season, and I definitely don't care to see him play in the back line because he's not good enough, frankly.
Dylan, Skendi or Richards as your center back going forward?
Richards, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
All right. I promise you, we're going to try and get Albie Skendi in before the season ends because I want to hear a conversation between them. I'm just going to we'll set it up with like a UFC fight theme, and we'll just get the two of you on here talking back and forth. It'll be fun. But yeah, we got to move on because it's already.
And I just bashing him over the course of the season for him to listen to.
Yeah, we'll get highlights of all the shows that all the things all of us have said about Albie. We'll play that highlight reel for him, and we'll see what he has to say.
Man, that is an hour-long show before he's even on.
Let's talk about this final home match. Hosting San Diego. We've already talked about it a little bit here. I think Larry wants to see some of the kids out there as long as we can still be competitive against San Diego. I'm going to go to you, Dylan, because we've heard the least amount from you at this point. What is Orange County's game plan against San Diego to get a victory here? Or is it more, let's just play, hopefully we steal a point, but let's see what the youngsters can do?
Yeah, game plan for getting a victory is hoping they forfeit for no reason, not for a reason that they generally do or have forfeited 2 games in the past.
I was going to say, I don't want to see a forfeit like that. I don't want to see like them walk off the field because one of our players said something that they shouldn't or something like that, Dylan.
Yeah. Play the kids, man. Play the kids and feed them on the ball, and hopefully he can get another goal. Goodrum or whatever from Memphis is he's out this week due to suspension, so this is a chance for Milan to, if we're lucky, kind of cement his lead there, and hopefully make it a little bit too big to overcome. I don't see us getting anything in this match. Hopefully no fist fights this time around, but seriously, we've struggled all the time against San Diego, it feels like. I mean, there's been some victories in there, but they haven't been good performances. And I can't think of too many bad performances that we've actually come away with all 3 points in the season.
So I think for Orange County with this match, right, if they get a result, it mathematically knocks San Diego out of any chance of first in the West. I know it's already sort of scary.
I was just looking at it. San Antonio's up 12 points. They've only got
a tiebreaker.
Well, 12 points with 3 to play. So the best that San Diego.
Oh,
San Diego
yeah. What were we thinking earlier? Who said that there was still mathematically possible? I think that was Brad.
I wasn't sure.
I was going to correct myself in the missing section of the show.
Oh,
I figured it wasn't.
Well, now you made me look dumb, Brad. So thank you so much. I never looked dumb, and
it
you made me
doesn't
look
take
dumb
much for any of us to look dumb.
San Diego, basically with the table as it is, San Diego's more or less. I mean, unless somehow Colorado can outscore their opponents by 12 goals, San Diego's got a plus 17. Colorado's got a plus 5. Colorado's chasing 6 points on them, and Colorado only has 2 games left to play. So 1 point, and San Diego. I mean, San Diego has second place locked up. So really, San Diego could be playing for nothing Saturday because they're not going to go up. They're not going to go down. They are the second place team in the West.
And they may not want to get hurt. They may want to
not want to get hurt. So maybe we see San Diego, playing some of their second team guys, and maybe we end up with a competitive game because we play the kids out there. Who knows?
So here's the benefit for us, right? Because you're looking at San Diego, they have 3 matches to finish the season. This is probably the match, if you're looking at it, okay, we've got second place. There's no chance at first. There's no chance of us falling to third. Let's rest our players maybe for this upcoming match, maybe one more match, and then bring our starting lineup back for that final match so that they can start getting a little bit of a form and stuff like that. So this is like the perfect opportunity for Orange County to steal 3 points from San Diego. I know Dylan's very pessimistic on that, but Larry just made the argument. Dylan, does that change your mind thinking that maybe this is a match that San Diego sort of just gives away because they don't want to risk anyone get hurt? They've already sealed their position. And then over the next 2 matches, now they build up for the playoffs? Or do you really think San Diego comes full strength and attacks us? Or thirdly, do you think even if San Diego goes to their like second tier team, they still beat Orange County?
I'm going to answer these questions in the best of my ability backwards. Yes, they will probably beat us if they play their second team, because even if they played their kids blanked our kids 3-0 last time out. That was all of like 2 weeks ago. So it doesn't bode well for us in that regard. Do they sit back and just hang out? I don't think so. This is a chance for, if they play fringe players, a chance for their fringe players to maybe argue for bench spots or maybe argue to start as they head into the playoffs. And of course, no team wants to go into a run of bad form going into the playoffs. Was there another question? And does it change my thoughts? No, I don't think so. I am, even if it was the academy versus these academy kids here, I get things are a little less consistent at that level, but I still don't see us winning.
Brad, thoughts of this upcoming match? Can Orange County pull off a victory? What are your thoughts?
I think the only way Orange County can pull off a victory if they goad a Northern Irish player into a typical street brawl. I know Dylan was alluding to that earlier, but getting Mr. Kyle Vassell to fight. This time we won't have Longmire.
I was gonna say we don't have Longmire there to be the antagonist.
So
let's get Kieran out there just to stand there and just talk to.
Yes.
Hey, he's differently abled at the moment due to that hip operation of his, so I don't think it's fair to put it.
That's why I said he just stands there and talks.
An old man who is injured out there. That's messed up, Ray.
I mean, Eric in our comments said it. The only thing that Orange County really has left to do this season is just give the ball to Milan as much as possible, and just let him go try getting 25 and 26, because at the end of the day, I think that'll boost his value and the club's value, and there's not really much else to play for except for making the kids look good out there. As for the actual result of the game, it'll be interesting.
Quiz for anyone, not just you guys, but anyone in the chat, anyone listening. Has there ever been a USL Golden Boot winner that was on a last place team? That would be an interesting trivia question to try and find out the answer for.
I think I heard somebody talking about, one of the announcers talking about in one of our games, that there has been a couple of times, there's been 2 times where the Golden Boot winner did not make the playoffs. But Golden Boot
we don't know if they were last place team.
Last place team, that I don't know.
All right. Anyone have anything else to say about this upcoming match before we do our score predictions? All right.
Dylan just looks so disappointed.
He joined us for the right time for this chat.
So sad this year, Dylan.
I think Dylan has taken on that role this season of I'm just going to be negative about everything. And that's just sort of my mentality for Orange County this year. Do we have an official prediction from Alan? Does anyone know?
2-1.
Yeah,
2-1, right?
2-1 for
Loyal.
San Diego.
Okay, dang it! I wish he wouldn't have submitted something, but he did. That's disappointing that the San Diego fan couldn't make it on here with us. But he's busy. He has bigger, better things with other more important shows, and then he's also a teacher in middle school. That's probably 3.5 jobs itself, plus doing all the podcasts he does. Bunch of scores coming through. We're looking at those we got going here. I like Russell's 4-2 Orange County. Wow. Dylan, please tell me you're going to be Orange County supporter here on this prediction.
Yeah. 2-1 San Diego with a Milan Olaski goal.
Larry.
Milan scores goals number 22 and number 23, and we lose 3-2.
Oh, we're the Angels now.
Exactly.
I'm also gonna just throw out a prediction I don't think is gonna be true at this point. 2-2.
Is there anything like what happens when a player scores 4 goals? What's that called?
Hambone.
Huh?
That's what it's called in bowling.
It's called tying the record.
Oh, I love that. So a hat trick +1 from Milan Olaski against San Diego, and we're gonna win 5-0 against San Diego. Look, I'm reversing that. Orange County 5, San Diego 0 in this match. Ooh. Where do we go from here? Other soccer stuff. Anyone have other soccer stuff they want to share at this point?
Absolutely. FIFA 23 came out last night.
Larry, I'm undefeated in foot. Right now. We got to play each other because I don't care what system you have. It's cross-platform now. I'm going to beat you, man. On foot, it has to be foot.
I really only do career mode, but I'll give it a go. I'll play it just for fun.
Put a foot team together. We'll play, and we can let Dylan and Brad do the play-by-play in that match.
But the really fun part about this year's game, because I'm a huge fan of the show, you can play as AFC Richmond, and you can be Ted Lasso as your manager. It's amazing.
And you can, I believe, give me if I'm wrong, Ronaldo Damas should be available to sign on the team on the game. Right?
Damas he is rated as a 61.
Which I think when I've gone back and look at other like Orange County players prior to joining the club or whatever, that's sort of where they sort of rate some of these players that are at our level. But what kind of pace do they give them? That's what I want to know.
Years ago,
what kind of pace do they give them? Do they at least give them good pace?
I'll look it up and let you know.
Shame on FIFA for when they finally start adding women's leagues into the game. They also add in fictional sports teams. Add more women's teams. The women's game is actually like up and coming.
Let me ask you, Larry.
Yeah.
So if you do create a foot team and you're able to, because you can use Coach Lasso or Coach Beard as your coach, which do you pick?
Coach Beard, come on.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I mean, you sport the big old beard. Ever. You have to go for Coach Beard, right? Coach Beard.
Definitely.
Our producer put on some other soccer news on there. Go ahead and bring it back up, Mr. Producer. Andy, and that's the upcoming friendly during the World Cup break. Well, at least for Europe, we'll be done with the season. We'll be on an off season here, but Orange County Soccer Club hosting Hamburger SV.
Pretty sure it's just hamburger.
I like that our producer put hamburger.
There's no burger.
No, I think he has it right.
Dylan, is it right? Tell us.
Right. Yeah, it is actually.
See, it is right, Larry. Do not question producer Andy's.
It's because it wasn't Ray doing it.
Yes. Thoughts on that, Dylan? Are you gonna try to attend this match on a Tuesday night?
I don't know, man. I was gonna say, aren't we going to be recording an episode? But I guess the season will be over that point, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, no, we could do like a live episode from the stadium while the match is in session.
That we could. We could just we could, in theory, just stream this game
and then have a player come over after the game. We'll still be live. They can come talk to us and have a pint with us.
Memories. It's cool. I get why it's Hamburger too. Obviously, the Rangers connection here, and since they're in the 2 Bundesliga, I think they're not going to have anyone going. It was funny to me when we announced it, because I was just thinking, well, I couldn't remember exactly if we were out, like officially out of the playoff contention or not. And I was like, this doesn't bode well. Good for us for prepping this thing, and it should be financially successful. And that's a good way to end off the year, because there is going to be a solid close to a month with no footy where they will still be on the hook for player salaries and office salaries and all that stuff. So let's push a game into there. Right? Yeah, why not? And you know what? If it builds some sort of friendship or some sort of local interest with German fans, just means we probably get better beer in the stadium. So not an issue.
There we go. Right. And that is a positive, right? Is we sort of got some Scottish fans that sort of started following us because of that partnership with Rangers. And this is that Rangers partnership going on here. Maybe you get some local Germans that are gonna be like, if I'm going to support a club, let me follow this Orange County club. If not just because they at least are playing a team that I remember watching back home. Brad, any disappointment that this sort of Rangers affiliation friendly is not against Rangers and it's instead against the German side?
Why would I be disappointed? A quote unquote international friendly against a well-known team in the world. I mean, obviously, I doubt they're going to be bringing over their top stars. But if they do, it's a nice little World Cup break match that they can get some minutes in a country in a nice little area where it's going to be a little bit warmer than back in Germany. No, it's good to see, and hopefully at the worst, it's just a game that goes on and some scouting that gets done by a foreign team and workouts for a foreign team. Maybe some of our players, get some interest.
I'm going to wonder, why wouldn't they bring their full roster out here? It's international break because of the World Cup. They probably want to keep their players fit. They're coming out to warmer weather. Even if it's just to play for 5-10 minutes in a match, it's still like a workout for them and it's still training for them. And why are you so negative on the fact that they might not bring, their top players out here?
I'm not negative on it. I'm just, it is halfway across the world for them, just about. It's a long travel, and even though they don't really have to deal with the whole back and forth, and getting ready for the next match maybe as quickly, it's still a lot of travel. And do you want to risk some injury on a field in the middle of Southern California?
Luckily, we have really great field conditions for them to play on out here, so not risk the injury in Orange County. Larry, last thoughts on this friendly? Are we excited? Are you going to be there?
Oh yeah, no, I'm absolutely going to be there. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if you guys know, but I actually lived in Germany for almost 6 years, so very familiar with a lot of these teams.
But apparently, you thought it was Hamburg and not hamburger.
Well, it's pronounced Hamburg. I used to be able to
just give you a hard time, Larry. Just give you a hard time.
I can't read it worth a crap. No, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And, again, like somebody just said a second ago, it's a chance to maybe showcase some of our players to an international team. Maybe Milan Lasky goes out there and scores 3 goals, and next year he's playing in Bundesliga 2.
There we go. Any other soccer stuff, Brad, Dylan, Larry, that you want to share?
Yeah, I have one thing to talk about. I wasn't as PG-13 when I mentioned this earlier on the Discord server, but a bunch of grown men go into the middle of a brothel with thousands of dollars and can't score. More on the U.S. men's soccer team later tonight.
Ouch.
The U.S. men's soccer team has looked absolutely abysmal over their past 2 friendlies against Saudi Arabia and Japan, and allowing 2 goals for
those are powerhouses. Team. Those are powerhouses.
They're both good teams, but we're supposed to be better. And I think the main fault of this team is, I hate to mention it, but good guy Greg up at the top, he seems to want to play his style with players that are much better than or play different styles. They're trying to shoehorn our roster into his style when players like, Ferreira are never going to be able to play Greg's game because they're just different types of players.
So Larry plays FIFA 23 with Coach Lasso. He probably can do a manager career mode with Coach Lasso and start coaching the U.S. national team. Is that something maybe Coach Lasso comes over and coaches the U.S. men's team?
I wouldn't be mad about that.
For you, Brad?
You know what? I'll take fictional.
Would that be better than Greg?
I would be better. No, I wouldn't be better than Greg, but they just don't seem to be fitting the system. No, I was agreeing with you and saying that I would be better, but I'm not. But I don't know about Ted Lasso.
So you're saying Coach Lasso is better than you, then, Brad? That's what you were ultimately saying.
He has more experience coaching a European team than I do. Yes.
There we go. AFC Richmond all the way. Yeah. Let's not even talk about the ugly kits because they're ugly. Let's just move on past that. There's no need to discuss the ugliness of kits. Although I'm assuming one out of the four of us would probably think, oh, those are pretty cool kits. Sounds like Brad was about to say that.
No, they're tacky, not ugly.
I thought he was about to say something, right, Dylan? Dylan heard something good coming out of that. Any other soccer stuff, folks? All right, then let's get to our random thoughts. I'm going to go first to. Let's go to Brad first because he was the first one we talked about on the show here today, or first,
all right,
other than me to talk on the show.
So earlier off stream,
1, 2,
I had
3.
Yeah, earlier I had asked 1, 2, or 3, and I've gotten a 1, I've gotten a 2, and I've gotten a 3. So Dylan, just let me know 1, 2, or 3. Just pick a number.
No.
Then I shall take the aggregate and pour 2 shots of Malort to celebrate our team
about
being
1 and 2?
eliminated. No, 1 + 2 + 3 is 6. But as a result,
my answer was 1 and 2.
All right. So anyways, to celebrate our team being eliminated from the postseason, I've decided to bring out the Malort bottle again. So
3
just
shots.
more. No, 2 aggregate. 1, 2, and 3 is 6 divided by 3. And
wait.
Dylan abstained, so it should actually be like less.
Wait. But we got to hear the votes from the listeners too. So hold tight on.
They already know that's cheating. That's cheating. I'm drinking it now. My random thought is I don't have a random thought actually. Just Malort.
Malort is a good random thought.
Producer Andy will put up one of the many Malort catchphrases, slogans on the screen right here as I take my drink. Salute.
Is that wait? Did we measure that? Is that a true 2 shots?
I don't know.
I want a replay on that. We got to see a replay on that. Larry, your random thought.
Random thought. Speaking of.
For those of you not watching a video, if you're like somehow listening to the audio, Malort tastes like the product of a gypsy curse. Is that even like PC? Are we supposed to say?
You can't call them that anymore.
Go, Larry.
Since we're talking a little whiskey, this weekend I took my girl out for a really nice dinner for her birthday, which was on Sunday, and I am a huge fan of Redbreast Irish whiskey, and I have a bottle of 12 that sits on my shelf, and that's my special occasion. But they had a 27-year-old on the menu, and I won't say the price, but
big
one shot was about a tank of gas in a Tahoe, and I'll tell you what, it was worth every dime that was spent on it. And Carrie said she wanted some, and even though it was her birthday, I just gave her a look of like, "Are you out of your mind?" But no, so it was, I've tasted a lot of whiskeys in my life. And let me tell you, a 27-year-old Irish whiskey, single pot, dear God in heaven, thank you for these little things in life. It was amazing.
Yeah, I drank some too this weekend, but apparently Brad told me it was a good beginner's whiskey. But it was in honor of the parent that passed away for my boys soccer team. So the dad of that man that passed away poured everyone a small cup neat, and we all drank. So Brad, you should feel bad for making fun of his whiskey. I told him what you said too.
I
said Brad is my whiskey expert. I'm sending him a picture and I'll let you know what he says. And then you respond. And I verbatim told him what you said. And this is a guy mourning the loss of his son. So there you go, Brad. Dylan, random thought.
Everyone should probably drinking a little bit more water.
Agua.
And eat your vegetables.
Brad puts the water up on the screen and it just makes him disappear. That's fun. Random thought for me. I told some of you before we went live, but a couple of you weren't here yet. Hey, October is the next time you're going to hear from us. For the month of October, my boys soccer team, we are going to help raise money for breast cancer awareness and a charity that supports breast cancer. We're actually going to be playing our games with these balls made by Select that are breast cancer awareness balls. And at the end of the games, this is for our home games. At the end of the games, I'm going to have both teams autograph the balls and we're going to auction them off for anyone that wants to purchase them, whether it's a parent for the players or if any random stranger or anyone with a lot of money just wants to help support a cause, they can actually bid on the balls. So there will be at least 3. I'm working with some of the away matches and see if any of the teams want to participate anymore. And I will say balls a lot more, Mr. Producer Andy. But at the end of October, we will put these up for auction. If anyone wants to bid on those, we will share the information on our social media. All proceeds will go towards a charity of choice for the research and support for breast cancer. So just wanted to share that out there so that way. And yeah, people could just make the donation if they don't want to bid on the soccer balls. That's cool as well. We'll share how to do that as we get to the end of October. But by all means, I think the boys will think it's really cool if people are bidding on these soccer balls that they've autographed. So that'll be a neat experience for them. It'll be their first time that they're signing, and we're auctioning them off, and it'll be cool for them. And they're all supportive. Hopefully we get our pink socks to wear for the month of October. The vendor for our team uniforms, we ordered those close to a month ago, and we still have not gotten them yet. So I'm sort of scared now at this point, but hey, that's how things go. Look at that. We're going to finish below an hour unless I keep talking. So maybe we should start wrapping things up here. I want to thank, as always, those of you that were participating on the chats. Thank you for doing so. Also for my co-hosts, Brad, Larry, and Dylan, who decided to at least bless us with 30 minutes of his time tonight. Thank you so much for doing so. Our producer, Andy, and our Missing in Action co-hosts, Taylor and Alan, who couldn't make it tonight. But thank you, as always, because you guys are a big part of this. And yeah, that's how this goes. This is the Orange and Black Soccercast. I'm just trying my hardest to get us past an hour, but it's not going to happen. So let's just wrap this up.
Well, we're just happy that you took the over on announcing anything due to your kids' soccer team. And I had the line at like 10 minutes and you lasted 55 and a half minutes. So just round of applause to you. We'll make it a 2-minute round of applause.
Should we
Better
stand?
2 minutes. I want to hear this.
I did yoga. My arms are tired.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this. And if you're still listening, props to you, because this is the probably most horrible 2 minutes of audio and video you've heard. But this is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. We are out.
Orange County, you are my team until the day I die. And when that happens, I'll still be singing way up in the sky. Whoa.
All right, boys, I'm out. Always a joy. See you Saturday.
Balls, 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 balls.